All right, so I've got the recording going. Any wins this week? Anybody have any good things happen? Little weight loss, a little off of a medicine, or tighten your belt loop, or
I have something. Um,
good.
so not only have I been consistently waking up early, which is anybody that knows me thinks that's impossible. Um, I I'm consistently losing weight, and for the last 2 days, I woke up early and started exercising in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
Even when I, yeah, even when I taught aerobics in the 80s, it was the evening classes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. That's really good.
It's
That's
weird,
cool. I
yeah.
didn't know that about you, that you used to teach aerobics. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. I love those kinds of stories. Weight loss is great, and it's part of the thing for a lot of the people here, but there's so many other things. So let me go ahead and get started on my PowerPoint. Slideshow. All right, so happy holidays. Don't blink, it's going to be New Year's. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining. If you're listening to this as a replay, I'm glad you're listening, because I got hopefully some good information to help you guys through the holidays. We've got a lot of new people coming in, and so they're going to be sailing this journey right through all of them pretty much. So, and I've been doing this a long time. I've been a weight loss coach for a long time, and I've helped people lose weight during the holidays, and I've seen it over and over and over again. So don't panic, it can be done. Just keep in mind, this is something temporary. These holidays come every single year. So if you give up a few of your favorites, don't worry, they can come back next year if you even choose to bring them back. So um, anyway, so let's go ahead and start there. We've got some opening funnies, some shout outs, and some welcomes. I got some top tips for getting through the holidays, some hacks and perspectives, and I got a little bonus round for you. And then, of course, Q&A. So feel free. We got a small group today. If you want to unmute and just ask your question out of the gate, that's fine. Because if I'm not explaining something, somebody else is probably thinking the same thing you are. Um, Otherwise, I'll have, of course, room at the end for Q&A. All right, so let's dive right in. I thought these snowmen were kind of cute. Looks like you put on a little weight over the holidays. Yeah, but it's mostly water weight. Um, Oops, let me go with my shout outs first. For Mary, she said her stomach stopped hurting, and her stomach has hurt since she was a kid.
Wow.
She said she feels like this program has saved her life, and she's down 20 pounds. Susan looks and feels so much better than she's felt in a really long time. Her energy is way up, and people are telling her she looks younger. I love that, because it's nice. We start to see, right? We start to see the results within ourselves. But when other people notice it, and especially if it's something else, just besides the weight loss, if we're looking younger, and I'm telling you, if you're off the sugars and off a lot of these processed foods, it can lessen the wrinkles and the depth of the wrinkles in the skin. So it's a real thing. Lori is down 39 pounds, and her indigestion is gone. And this last person, she said she's sleeping absolutely amazing. Her energy is fantastic. It's been better than it's been. And I didn't say her name for this reason, but I wanted to share there's so much good stuff happening in the body. But she said her BMs don't smell. So that just tells me that the system is really getting some healing effects to this program. So I got someone saying something in a chat. Oh, someone says, I'm receiving comments that I look better, that I've released 15 pounds. Congratulations on that. Yay for that. That's awesome. I love these stories. Just love. That's why I want to share them. And that's why I'm hoping my my dream is that it's inspiring someone else to stick with it. And the holidays can be a challenging time. So just hang in there, guys. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be super, super worth it. All right. So let's get on with our little program today. So does anybody want to unmute and guess what is the average amount of weight that Americans gain over the holidays?
I would guess
10?
7.
Who? What?
Sean, it's 7.
Someone said 7. I heard a 10. Anybody else?
15.
15? Actually, no, believe it or not, it's really only about, it's just under a pound. It's just under a pound, but that's average. Some people are going to gain more and some people are gaining less. So let's talk about that. How do you gain a pound? So if we eat 3,500 extra calories, then we gain a pound. If we release the 3,500 extra calories, then we lose a pound. So if you eat 500 calories more every day for a week, in that week you would gain a pound. Same thing with the losing of the pound. If we don't consume 500 calories every day, or you burn off 500 calories every day, that's how you lose a pound. So, and you can even do 250 and 250. So if you eat 250 calories less and you burn 250 calories, that's 500 per day. That would add up to a pound in a week. Just to put that on, and I'll put all that into perspective in a second. So where are my fun facts? Okay. Did you know candy canes were originally invented to keep kids quiet during church? I didn't know that. Fruitcake was actually intended to last all year. That's not a surprise. Sugar plums have nothing to do with plums. Tradition, the tradition of leaving cookies for Santa started when the Christmas trees were actually decorated with food, and then the food would disappear at night. So it was speculated that Santa had a late night snack. So then the kids were leaving the cookies out on purpose. So here's where that 3,500 calories is going to make sense. The typical Christmas dinner used to have 7,000 calories. That's 2 pounds.
Wow.
And we're going to go over some calorie counts in just a minute too. So not until the 16th century, when Henry VIII had turkey for dinner, that it became a tradition. And the last one, in medieval times, Christmas dinner was typically peacock. I didn't even know people ate peacocks. Anyways, little fun facts to get you started for the holidays. All right, some top tips. Number 1 is fasting. I've talked about fasting several times, many times you guys have probably heard. And I'm for it on occasion. So for me, if you're always fasting, if you're always having your first meal at noon or 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, what happens is your body does adapt. But if on occasion you do some fasting, your body's kind of surprised by that, and it really helps eat up the sick and dead cells in the body. So that's one of the reasons why we have you doing a fast. One of the reasons. But when we do some fasting, if you know you're going to a big party and you want to do a fast, you're doing your gut a little favor, but also you're not taking in all those extra calories, what you might be taking in later, so we don't get that extra 3,500 calories in. So during the holidays, and I think a lot of it it's a lot of a mindless stuff, because we go into, I don't know, doctor's offices or your accountant's office or different places of business. And right there at the checkout, there's Christmas candies, there's Christmas cookies. Our own office that we might work in, some people might be bringing Christmas candies and cookies and desserts and sweets. And sometimes we just pick it up and we eat it. We don't even think about it. But we're eating a lot of extra calories in the next month and a half or so. And so it's nice to find some new ways to burn extra calories. You know, we've heard these old things, take the stairs, not the elevator, park a little farther away. We can do all those things a little bit more so, or set that intention to do these extra little things. Maybe ride your bike to the grocery store, or maybe you ride your bike to run some errands. If it's possible, you don't have to carry a bunch of stuff. Finding different ways to burn some extra calories, maybe go for an extra hike with your friends, go out dancing. That's my personal favorite. Take a dance class, doing some extra things to burn extra calories. If we're kind of at the end of the day going, wow, oh, I ate that one cupcake, or I ate that one cookie, and then I had that Christmas candy, and then I went to that house over there, and I went to that party. And you're starting to think about, wow, I really am putting in some extra calories. That's why it's important to write stuff down too, because a lot of times even for me, when I did the program and I was writing all my food, I thought I was so much better than I really am as far as eating super clean. And I thought I was eating so much more vegetables, but writing your food down really does help, because if I know I'm going to write it down, I might only have 1 or 2 cookies. Versus if I'm not going to write food down, I might have a whole lot more, whether someone's going to read it or not. Of course, if someone is going to read it, you're being held accountable, which is why this can work if you're journaling and you're turning that stuff in. So finding new ways, or just the old fashioned ways of burning some extra calories. Take the stairs, take the stairs. Let's see. It's over. Prioritize your plate and the order in which you eat your macros. So when you go, to the party and they've got all these wonderful dishes around, your macros are your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, pretty much. Well, that is your macronutrients. But I would say load your plate up with as much turkey or ham, or even, if it's a good roast beef, fill it up with the protein and the cleaner vegetables when at all possible. So if you put the most of those 2 things on first, there's less room for the mashed potatoes, less room for the stuffing. That's what I was looking for. Less room for the rolls and all those other traditional holiday meals. And another trick too is, if we are going to have some stuffing, which obviously regular traditional stuffing is going to be gluten, so I don't recommend you do that if you're in the first 12 weeks. However, if you're still just trying to maintain, if you eat your carbohydrates last, the insulin spike will be slower, because you've coated your belly and your intestines with all the fiber from those vegetables and with all the protein and probably fats. Within those, there's probably butter on those veggies. There's probably been cooked in some oils, all of those things. So your fats, your proteins, and your vegetables, which carry the fiber, if they go in first, they coat your belly, and it makes that insulin spike go slower. And if it goes fast, it goes right up into the fat storage zone. So we want a slow spike of insulin. But just to be clear, overeating, even if it's really good, healthy food, can spike insulin levels. So try to use a smaller plate, and probably even have that as a tip on there to help you with portion control, because everything is always so good and yummy and special on these days. Planning ahead, just kind of knowing what's being served at the different parties or the banquets or the dinners or whatever. Just kind of planning ahead and getting a feel for what's happening there. If there's a host, if it's a house party, if there's a hostess or host, you can ask them what's being served. Maybe provide a side dish of your own that is, compliant to the program. Just planning ahead will help you not walk into like a landmine of trouble. All right, so pick a party. So Thanksgiving is typically one day. That's not usually the problem. It's the December holidays where there's the work party, and there's the family party, and there's the neighborhood party, and there's the friends party, and there's the other, all these different little parties happening, or even places that you go in social situations. it's extra foods and bigger and sweeter, and it's all a carb fest, as you know. So if you know you're going to this and that and that and that party, and you've been to those every year, or you kind of get a good idea of what's going to happen at those parties or what's kind of being served at those parties, pick yourself one party that you're going to go ahead and splurge on. But then on the other parties, eat before you go, so you're not starving. Because if you go starve, if you're fasting all day and you're thinking you're going to just be on your best behavior, that's not going to help, because you're going to be starving, and then you're going to want to wolf it all down. So fasting would go on a day that you know you're going to go ahead and pick that party as your cheat day. But if you choose one versus, oh, this party, oh, everything was so good and I ate everything, and I ate everything at this one, and I ate everything at that one, your 3,500 calories will happen over and over again. And that's, again, how we put on those extra pounds. Helping with cleanup. I like this one because for me personally, if my hands are busy, I'm not eating, because I love to eat too, you guys. I will eat until the cows come home, if you let me. But if my hands are busy, and even if it just means picking something up off the table and putting saran wrap over it, or putting it in the Tupperware, or putting things away, or helping with the dishes, or, you know, putting some of the stuff away, or taking out the trash or whatever, I don't think anybody's going to get mad if you're helping them out in the kitchen. A lot of hosts will say, don't worry, I got this. But you can certainly help pick up some of the trash around the room, or something like that, keeping yourself busy and occupied, keeping those hands busy. Because if they're not, then we go back to that hand to mouth situation. All right, getting rid of your plate. So, okay, so if there's paper plates at the party, I do not like to waste anything. And so for me, I want to keep my plate until I'm done, you know, so I don't have to get another plate and waste all those plates. But if I throw my plate away, it bothers me to go get another clean plate, but it's easier to not keep eating if I've gotten rid of my plate. Or if it's, you know, a glass dish that's going to be washed, if I went ahead and put it into the kitchen, I'm less likely to walk by and go, oh, those cookies look nice, and start refilling my same plate. I'm full, I'm good, I've had my favorite things, I can get rid of my plate now, and let's get on with the socializing and the reason for the season and the reason for the party. All right, let's keep going. Don't give your routines a holiday. So yeah, I normally go to my yoga, you know, on my Sunday. I normally do this, I normally do that, but we're busier now. We're baking, we're cooking, we're traveling, we're wrapping, we're shopping, we're doing a lot of other things. But knowing that all these things are coming up, don't give your exercise routines the day off. Don't give your regular meal prep a day off, because if we do have healthy choices, you know, you've heard the 80-20 rule. If we do good all week and then we go to that party Saturday night, that it might not throw you off track. But if you're not doing your meal prep, you're probably not going to do so great all week. And now we're stacking all those extra calories, because now we're opening up packaged foods or fast food or Uber Eats or drive-through or all of that other stuff if we're not doing the meal prep. So do your best to not give those kinds of routines the day off. You can certainly make faster food, like buying the chickens already pre-cooked. Now you have your protein done. All I did was go to the store and buy it. Buying your salad already, you know, cut up in a bag, shredded carrots, shredded cabbage, you know, make a big salad. You're good to go. You didn't have to cut anything. You can make the things go faster in those kinds of ways. Buying pre-cut up vegetables, so you don't have to do that, either fresh or frozen. That way, all that stuff goes faster because we're having less time, but don't give them the day off. Using a small plate. So sometimes they'll have different parties, of course, depends. They'll have the dessert plate and they'll have like a dinner plate. But if it's kind of like an hors d'oeuvre kind of a party where it's not a sit down dinner, I would say get yourself the dessert plate and fill it up with just your favorite things. But the plate is full, so visually it's satisfying because you have a full plate. And there's something to be said with visually satisfying as well as tasting good and smelling good, of course. But with a full plate, it's visually more satisfying. So it really helps bring those calorie counts down and really helps with your portion control. Eat what you love, leave what you like. So survey the entire food table before you put one thing on your plate. And I have made this mistake way too many times, which is why I really wanted to share it. I'm like, oh, look, nachos, great. And this one over here is great. And this one, that one, this one. And then I go around now my plate is full and, I'm not going to waste anything because I like the nachos and I like those cheese balls and I like those things. But I go around the corner and they've got lobster on a stick. What? There's no room on my plate. Now I got to go back and do a second plate. So survey the entire room and then you can say, I can leave without the nachos. They're good, but like not as good as that next thing or whatever your favorite thing is. Even if it's a complete cheat favorite, if you just choose that one super favorite thing, at least, you're getting that satisfaction and be done. You're not having all the other things that are still bad for us, but not the favorites. Pick out your absolute all-time favorite thing first before you pick up the stuff that you just sort of like, or maybe want to try. You never even had it before. Set personal rules. So this can be like, I'm just going to have one plate of food and that's it. So if you set the intention, if you guys are doing the course, there's a whole video, and I think it's module 2. Yeah, it's module 2, setting your intentions. If you set 0 intentions, it's a free-for-all. You don't know what you walk in and there's no rules. But if I set an intention, I'm going to have one plate of food. I'll allow myself maybe some extra types of foods, maybe a little mashed potatoes or a little something, maybe. Not encouraging those things, but if I set a certain set of rules as one plate, or another personal rule would be one drink, alcoholic drink, or another personal rule could be for every one cocktail I have or every glass of champagne I have, I'm going to have a full glass of water. Or whatever, that setting yourself personal, or this particular party, I'm not going to do any sugars. I'll have the mains, but I'm not going to do any sugars at this party. Again, goes back to pick your party, but that can be a personal rule you set. Okay, that party, I'm going to have some cheats over there. This party, I'm not going to have any desserts. This party, I'll let myself have a cocktail, but kind of give yourself some sort of limits. We may choose at the moment to break a rule, but if you've set them in place, there's a bigger likelihood that you might actually follow them and do yourself a huge favor. Oh, well, there it is. Alternate alcohol with water. And that's a good one. I'm going to talk about some calorie counts in a minute. But first of all, we tend to not hydrate as much during the holidays because we're drinking all this other stuff and we're eating so much food. We feel full. We just don't think to drink water. Plus, it's typically colder, so we're not drinking water per se. But if you are having any alcohol, again, not encouraging it, and it is not recommended in the first 12 weeks. But if you are, alcohol is dehydrating. So the only way not to dehydrate yourself, plus there's a lot of salt on these foods, which is also dehydrating. If you're having caffeine, again, dehydrating. But you want to alternate. So you're saving yourself all the calories every other drink. Obviously, water has 0 calories. So it could be sparkling water, and you can put it in your wine glass. I've done that at parties. You throw a strawberry or a raspberry or a cranberry, fresh cranberry in your sparkling water. It looks festive. It is festive. It's 0 calories, and you're hydrating yourself. So that's a good rule as well. Social gatherings are social. Remember why you're there. Leave the area where the food is. Go sit down in the living room where there's a couch. Walk away from the food table. I know that's pretty much where everybody gathers, is the kitchen or around the food table. But just keep in mind why you're there, the reason for the season, and just really make a point to talk to certain people. That might be a personal rule, is to make sure that you talk to 3 people you haven't talked to for a while, which makes you have to go away from the food table, hopefully. And that will help you not eat so much as well. And this last one is put gum in your mouth. You can't be, because I'll walk by at a party and, oh, look, there's a cookie. Oh, look, there's a little piece of fudge, all these little holiday cookies and holiday fudge and all those holiday things. If there's gum in my mouth, it's not happening. So that might really help. Plus, we're at a party. We don't want to have, garlic breath, right? And we're trying to be extra social, so we don't want to have the garlic breath. And what if there's mistletoe, All right, let's move this thing here. All right, here we go. Hacks and perspectives. Alcohol, eggnog, champagne, or sparkling water. Well, eggnog by itself is 223 calories. And and there's a lot of fat, and there's a lot of sugar in that too. Now you add a shot of bourbon to that, you've just added another 100 calories, and you haven't eaten yet, and that's only 1 drink. Champagne, I believe, is around 80 calories, and of course, your sparkling water is going to be 0. So keep that in mind when you're calculating. Gosh, am I getting close to that 3,500? Because I don't want to put any pounds back on. You guys are all here. Everybody here is doing great. So don't keep the sparkling water an option. All right. So potatoes. Where's my potato? All right. So mashed potatoes. A serving of mashed potatoes is about 35 carbs, 35 grams of carbs. And the smashed cauliflower is about 10 grams. So just as an idea, when I'm looking at food labels and I'm looking under carbs, if I see something that's over 20 or even 25 especially, I'm probably not going to have it unless I know I'm going to be super, super active. So that's kind of my personal rule, if you will, is my limit on the foods. Is the carbohydrate can't be a high carb kind of a carb where it's going to be over 25. So mashed potatoes by itself is 35. That doesn't count the stuffing, that doesn't count the dinner roll, that doesn't count the pumpkin pie, which are carbs, or doesn't count the eggnog, doesn't count the wine, which is also carbs. So be very mindful. Carbs store in the liver, and if we're not going to use them up, they store as triglycerides, which leads to another host of problems. So keep.
Tami,
Yes.
I'm sorry. What would be the quantity? So if we're trying to, we want a little bit of potato and a little bit of the bread stuffing, what is the measure that gives us the 35 grams? Do you know?
So it was 1 cup.
It is 1 cup. Thank you.
1 cup of the potatoes was 35 grams.
Okay.
I don't know stuffing, but we can, let's find out. Let's find out.
Tami, when you say the 20 grams of carbs, are we talking net carbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I'll see something that's 25 or 30, but it's got 5 or 8, fibers. So that brings it down into what I would be okay with my personal rule.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. Where was it going? Oh. How many carbohydrates in 1 cup of traditional stuffing? Oh, okay. So 30 grams. 1 cup, a cup of traditional stuffing is typically contains about 30 grams of carbohydrates. But then it goes down. Bell's traditional stuffing is 64 per cup. Nutrionics homemade bread stuffing, 30 grams, 30 grams. So 30 seems to be the trend here. So 30, okay, that's not the end of the world, but keep in mind, we've got the appetizers, we've got the mains, we've got the desserts, we've got the drinks. So be mindful of those things. Homemade cranberry sauce versus the canned, the jellied kind. Where is that? So a quarter cup of the jellied is 110 calories and 25 grams of sugar. 25 grams of sugar. For every 4 grams of sugar is a teaspoon. So what's 25 divided by 4? That's a lot of sugar. And if you look at the can, its first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, not cranberries. But a cup of fresh, if you make your own cranberry sauce with stevia or monk fruit, it's only going to be about 11 calories versus 110. You've saved 100 calories and just on that, not to mention all that sugar. And sugar is carbs, guys. Yeah, I didn't even talk about the carbs in the cranberry sauce. Again, it just comes at us. The carbs. So make your own. It's the easiest thing on the planet. You take the bag of the fresh, you put it in the pan. I think it's a cup of water, but the bag will tell you. And I add my sweetener, which I use stevia. Some people don't like that. You can use monk fruit or erythritol or xylitol if you want. I usually use some orange zest and sometimes some diced oranges as well to give it an orangey cranberries flavor. It's delicious, but you don't even have to do that. It's super, super easy. And then you kind of simmer it for about 10 minutes and you mush it up a little bit. Super, super easy. All right, so pumpkin pie versus baked apple versus, and I'll even add, where is it? Or pecan. Now, I'm sure you guys can guess which is your better choice. Oh, actually, pumpkin pie is 320 calories for a traditional slice. I forgot to, let's see. How many calories in one apple? So one apple is about 77 calories. So if you took an apple and you baked it, covered it in cinnamon, maybe a little sweetener, you take the one apple, you bake it at 350 for 15 minutes. You have a nice dish of baked apple, is 77 calories. Whereas your pumpkin pie is 320. That's a huge savings, And it's delicious. It's an apple pie without the crust. So, and then I did want to just suggest here. So the apple pie came in at about 300 calories, a regular traditional apple pie. Pumpkin came in at 320. Pecan, which is a traditional, 400 to 500, and 20 to 30 grams of fat. And it's really high in sugar, really high in fat, really high in sugar. Oh, I forgot to get the numbers on that. But I can tell you the homemade Starbucks, the homemade pumpkin latte, if you do 2 scoops of your protein shake of the whey protein, that's 171 calories. Where's my pumpkin? I thought I had all that. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, there it is. So the Starbucks pumpkin is 420 calories, but pumpkin puree is 6 to 10 calories per tablespoon. So if you're just putting in a couple tablespoons mixed in with your vanilla shake and just add some pumpkin spices, you're still going to be under 200 calories. Whereas the Starbucks one is 420. Plus, it's a lot of sugar. You're not getting the sugars in our protein shake. Plus, you're getting a protein. So these are just ways that I just wanted you to kind of get a perspective where all these extra calories are coming from. And they're easy ways to switch things out. Okay, All right, so next up, we got the bonus round. All right, so we've got travel tips. Number one is if you're going out, if you're going somewhere and you're going to be staying with family and friends, or maybe you're staying at a hotel, a lot of times we hang out. So you go to the house and we hang out, we sit at the kitchen table and we talk and we bond and we reminisce or we tell jokes or whatever your family traditions are. But typically what we're doing is drinking and eating. Even if it's not alcohol, we're still drinking something, or we're snacking on something. Somebody puts out a charcuterie board. Somebody has some homemade cookies. Somebody puts out the thing, whatever it is. So instead of doing that, you might just make a suggestion to do something outside of the home. So maybe it could be something as fun and silly and goofy as going bowling. I know that sounds silly and goofy, but you're building memories with these people that you know and love. I'm not a bowler at all, but if I'm at a family function and someone said, let's go bowling, and we did, and it was maybe the day after Christmas or the day before, or, you're staying there for several days. You're not just there on that one day, as far as travel goes. You want to get out of the house and do something other, and your hands are busy with the bowling. You're going to create some laughter. You have your memories. Remember that time that Patty got 4 gutter balls in a row or whatever. It builds different kinds of memories. And maybe you start a new tradition, and it's just a way you're moving your body a little bit. Maybe it's billiards. Maybe it's an arcade. Maybe you're taking the kids to the arcade, or maybe it's a bounce house for the kids or something like that. But you're out of the house, you're away from that kitchen table. Depending on where you are in the country, I'm here in Arizona, and there's about a half an hour away from here. Me is Lake Pleasant, and we have decent weather. You can go kayaking. That might be something to do. Taking tours, go to a museum, go see something historical. When I go to Tennessee to visit my son, he always takes me to some kind of Civil War reenactment thing. It's not necessarily at Christmas time, but it gets us out of the house. We learn something. It creates a new tradition. We're not eating. And it's just a way to, especially if kids are involved, to teach them growing up that it's not 100% all about the food. And we've all been raised that way, which is why this is so darn hard. Every celebration is about food. So when we don't get the cookie and we don't get the dessert, we feel like we're getting punished and not getting to be rewarded. So if we find other ways to have fun and enjoy, like silly things like bowling or bounce house or museums or arcades, Dave and Buster's. I don't know if you guys have one near you, but it's kind of an adult playground. And there's axe throwing, which is a crazy, wild, silly, goofy thing to do. But can you imagine the stories year in and year out if you do something fun and silly like that? Wall climbing, what else? Any kind of indoor sports if you're in a place where it's all snow all the time. But just doing something other than sitting around at the table reminiscing. When you're traveling around, you have your one holiday celebration. Maybe it's the Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating. But it's not all about that one day. You might be there for a week. You might be there for 3, 4, 5 days. So likely you're going to restaurants. So another tip would be share a meal. Go out and, you go out to whatever restaurant, get a big salad and share it, or get a chicken dinner and share it. You can always add a side salad if it's not enough food. But that's another way to save calories and some money. Holidays are expensive. So if we can save both of those things, they're expensive calorie wise, and they're expensive just, we're spending extra money that we don't normally spend during the year. So that's another tip. Taking time to move, again, taking the stairs, going for walks, finding things that maybe you can walk to the grocery store, walk to the park with the kids if you're going to go out and do something like that. So if you can, take the stairs, go for walks, maybe some walking tours. If you're going to go see a city or a place that you've never seen, you can't see it as well as you can when you're walking. So taking time to move your body. And also when you're traveling, you can plan ahead. You can find You can Google, like if you're staying in a hotel or Aunt Susie's house, whichever, you can put in the address in Google and say, restaurants near me or grocery store near me. And that way you can find things that you can walk to. A restaurant, so that way you walk to the restaurant and you walk home from the restaurant. And plus, if you're doing your homework, you can go to the website of the restaurant and pick out something that you can have in advance. It takes the stress out of it, like panic. Oh my God, I hope they have something that I can have. No, you already know. So now you can just go there and enjoy it. You don't have to, that little bit of panic. Oh my God, it's a pasta place. What if all they have is pasta, or something like that. Find something that can work for you. So planning ahead in that way. Also, planning ahead with your hotel room, if there's a refrigerator or a microwave or a hot plate or a microwave or something like that, maybe you can pick up a few things at the walkable grocery store. But either way, if you get to the grocery store, pick up a few things. You can make a breakfast pretty easy or make something quick in your hotel room to save on money, and just something small. Maybe it's a protein shake. Maybe that's all you're going to have, but something that will save you some money and some calories. So that's pretty much it on the travel. Party tips, I kind of went through all of that. Bringing a dish is a helpful tip for that one. Bringing a dish, so you can bring a dish, and if it's a dessert, which I encourage, because you know what it's sweetened with, and you know it's got ingredients that you can have. That way, when everybody else is having dessert, you're not sitting there like, oh no, I can't have any. That's just a sad place, and it makes us feel deprived. But if you bring your own, and you could share it with others, if others don't want it or like it, that's okay. At least you enjoy it. But chances are somebody else is going to like it and appreciate it too. So also, this is pretty common. We call them, what do we call them? Food pushers. You've done all this, you've had all this food and you're full. And then the hostess comes and you got to try this piece of pie. I made it homemade from scratch. You just got to try it. And you're like, oh my God, I've already eaten too much. A way to handle that is, oh, that looks very lovely. Can I please take a piece home? I am fully stuffed right now, but can I take a slice home, or can I take some home? I would love to try that wonderful homemade pie, but can I take it home? And then when you get home, you can decide what to do with it. You can either put it in the freezer for a month from now when, so that way you're not stacking a bad food day upon another bad, I'll have it tomorrow. It's another bad food day and another bad food, another bad food. That's how we get to that 3,500 calories. But we either throw it away when we get home, or take a bite so we can tell her it was wonderful and then throw the rest away, or freeze it, or give it to somebody else, give it to the kids or somebody else. Party tips also, if you're having the party and it's stuff that's there, as people are leaving, give it to them. You don't want leftover cookies in your house. It was bad enough that it was there for that one day, but give it to them. Give it to the people. Invest in some of those plastic containers or Ziploc baggies or whatever, or tell everybody to bring that stuff, and then they can load up on leftovers on their way out. And also another one is staying hydrated. Like I said earlier, we don't think to drink as much water because it's winter time, it's cooler, we're not sweating and hot and thirsty all the time, and we're eating all this food, we're so full, we forget to drink. And staying hydrated helps keep our stomach full so we won't eat as much. But again, how important it is, how important being hydrated is for your brain, for your liver, for your system, for your digestive system. You're going to digest better. You're going to have better bowel movements with hydration. So it doesn't go away. Remember keep your healthy routines. Don't give those the holiday off. And getting your water in is part of that. So don't give that the holiday off either. It also helps with your energy levels as well. What do we got for leftovers? All right, so leftovers. So for Thanksgiving, it's one day. it's one day, okay, we maybe went off a little bit, or maybe we didn't. Maybe we did a great job. And I expect a lot of you are going to send me your journal pages the day after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to be so, so proud of you. But either way, it's one day. The problem with Thanksgiving is the leftovers. It's the leftover, like that, the mashed potatoes that just keep on coming. Every time I open the refrigerator, there it is. Every time I open the refrigerator, there it is, there it is, there it is. So if it's something that's not a good choice, but you love it and you're like me and you hate to, you hate to throw anything away, freeze it. So in a month from now or 6 weeks from now, you can pull it out and have a little bit. Once you're off your 12 weeks, it's kind of how life is or rolls. You're going to have some, off foods once in a while, the mashed potatoes or whatever it is. Could be a dessert, could be that super casserole that somebody made that you love, but it has cream or cheese or whatever. But freeze it in single serving sizes so you can just pull a little bit out at a time. But freezing it is one of the tips here. Again, give it away. It's a George Strait song. I can't even give it away. As you know, I'm a country and Western music lover. But in this case, you do want to give it away, because if it's not in the house, you've enjoyed it for today. All right, fine. I had it for today, but let Aunt Susie have it. Let the kids have it. Let your neighbors have it. Let somebody else have it. Everybody likes to take home leftovers. So why not? And just make sure that you have those little to-go boxes or containers that you don't care if you don't get back. Make sure that you do label things if you do freeze things or even refrigerate things, because a lot of times we have a lot of UFOs in our freezer, unidentified frozen objects. You're like, that container has been in my freezer for 6 months. What the heck is it? Label it and date it. And that just goes for all year round. That's not a holiday tip, because I sometimes don't do that. And then I'm mad at myself because I don't remember what it is. Oh, just another fun fact. It says we toss $100 million of leftovers out every single year. Can you guys believe that? I don't know how true that is, but that was a statistic that came up when I was looking for my numbers here. And it's like, and I hate to throw anything away. So freeze it, give it away, just taste it and then let someone else have it and get on with your day and make it about the party and make it about the people and make it about bonding with your family and friends and all of that. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments or other suggestions you'd like to share?
So I will comment that we are doing something very different this year. I made an announcement to the family that we were going to do Dr. Infantino Thanksgiving. And yeah, my husband was not excited about that, but I changed his mind. I changed his mind, and everybody is doing a dish that that follows the rules of this diet. Yeah. So
That's cool.
So from homemade cranberry sauce made with monk fruit to even the turkey, the way we make it. And then I sent you the vegetable stuffing with no bread.
Yes. I put it in the Facebook group.
Okay, yeah. And then we've got like a roasted maple yams with pecans that will be made with the Lakanto.
Oh.
And like everybody has they're going to do cinnamon apples without sugar. So everybody has their thing they're going to bring. My in-laws hate it, but that's what we're doing this year. My kids were actually really excited. They're like, yes, thank God for once we're going to eat healthy.
I love that. And you are so blessed. You have no idea to have a family that's even willing to participate. So many of my clients, and this is not just during the holidays, it's any day of the year, June, January, any day. They're like, nope, my family brings pizza every Friday and there's ice cream in the freezer and they're bringing home all this stuff. And it's horrible. It's so mean and awful that the family is not being supportive. I am
Yeah.
also blessed like that. My family is the same way. And so I feel super blessed. But the good news is the parents, the in-laws, I think you said that were not about it.
Yeah.
What happens when they taste this stuff and it's really good? Like what magical epiphany is going to happen with them? And plus, obviously, if they're in-laws, they're going to be older. They need it more than ever is to really learn to eating healthy. And it's like, wow, these apples are pretty good. Oh, this stuffing is pretty good. Like and you're teaching the kids, and the fact the kids are even excited about, oh my God, I can't even tell you how
Yeah.
happy that makes me for you.
Yeah. And I think they're going to like everything. And they are very understanding. These are the people, remember that they bought me the rotisserie chicken for the party?
Oh, right,
Because
right,
there's
right.
nothing
Oh,
there I could
that's
eat. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, obviously they hate it, but I know they're going to like everything. I mean,
yes.
we're even going to have non-grain, non-sugar pumpkin cookies. So
Wow, wow. I can't wait to see the pictures. You
yeah,
better
okay,
post those
yeah,
to Facebook.
yeah. So it
Patty,
might be
Oh
a
my gosh, I
lot of
love that.
calories, but at least the ingredients will all be
And you know what? And that's actually good. When we go too high in calories on occasion, like a cheat day, but you're not cheating with ingredients, you're just cheating with calories, it actually will
Right,
serve you. I mean,
right.
I used to, when I first lost my weight and I kept losing and losing, like, how am I still losing? I'd go to a party twice a month and, eat whatever and then go back to my very strict ways. And I just kept losing. I'm like, this is amazing. What's going on? But when you surprise the body a little bit, it does serve you. So I'm so happy for you.
may I
Yes.
may I encourage you, Patty? I was on a similar diet about 4 years ago. Well, it wasn't gluten-free. It was grain-free, sugar-free, dairy-free.
Yep.
And I did bow to one son who has a very narrow palate, and I did make 2 potatoes worth of mashed potatoes for him. All the rest of the kids ate the mashed
Cauliflower.
cauliflower, and I don't remember, I put some other vegetable in with that, but to make it a little creamier. And I was not using cashews, which a lot of recipes recommend for thickeners and stuff like that. I
I've
was
seen that.
the cauliflower dramatically, if you whip that up, it actually acts as a thickener in the gravy and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um, but I'd always been in the kitchen by myself. I have 4 kids. My husband knows nothing about cooking. I do everything by myself. That year, my husband participated. There's lots of cauliflower boiling and squeezing and processing. We took 2 days. My older kids all joined in because it was all new stuff. And it was my oldest son actually brought this amazing stuffed acorn squash that
ooh,
everybody ate and thoroughly loved. So I think you'll find that if it's totally new like that, but trying to elicit the memories. I mean, we still had the turkey, we still had stuffing. Ours was all vegetable. Um,
yeah.
it they find that they do like things. And my one son that had the potatoes still ate the gravy, and the gravy had no flour of any kind. I didn't use almond flour or anything else in it. It was just
So it was with cashews, you said?
it was not. A lot of them call for
So
cashew.
what did you thicken it with?
I thickened it with, we had boiled cauliflower. I think we used 3 heads of cauliflower for the whole meal. But we boiled it, we pureed it, and then we put it through cheesecloth. So we were squeezing all of the liquid out of it. And
Oh,
so when you blended that into the drippings from the meat, it really did make it have this smooth, creamy like texture to it.
wow. That's a
Gosh,
great idea.
It's
yes, I'd never even heard of that one. That's cool.
yeah, it's work intensive, but you can do that stuff ahead of time too. So we process the cauliflower all ahead of time.
Can you put that like in a jar or something?
Yeah, or freeze it. It's, you know,
Okay, perfect.
That's
Thank you so
cool.
much.
That would be great. You just, and like on a meal prep day, just any time of year, and put it in ice cube trays. And if you're ever trying to make a sauce and you want to thicken it, you don't have to have the flours, because even almond flour, cassava flour, coconut flour, we don't recommend those till after the first 12 weeks.
Yeah.
But like 12 weeks is a long time to go with, just eating super, 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 super clean. But that is eating super clean, and you still get a thickener out of the deal.
Yeah.
So
What a
And
great
that's
idea.
use your immersion blender for that kind of stuff because it greatly helps. And if you don't
thank
have
you
one,
so
it's a good
much.
tool.
I just bought one.
Good.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Sean. That
much.
is the best tip of the year.
It is. That was the
That is the best tip of
one.
the year. You get a grand prize. I don't know what the prize is. Cheers. Cheers. Here's to hot tea and me.
There you go. Healthy Thanksgiving.
That's
I
fantastic.
love that. Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you boil it, you puree it, and then you strain it.
Squeeze it. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
writing it down. Okay.
Yeah. So boil it, steam it, however you want to cook it.
Okay.
Make it soft, and then you're gonna blend it and then or mash it. It's better if it's blended. You're wanting it to be a really fine, by the time you've squeezed all the liquid out of it, then it's going to be this very fine substance that gets blended into whatever you're adding it to thicken.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
And
I
don't
imagine like a winter squash might do the same thing, although those are higher in carbs. The cauliflower is going to be lower.
Right.
the squash
So
will, but that's of course flavoring things. The thing with the cauliflower, and yeah,
that's true.
I suppose you can have a little bit of flavor with the cauliflower. Just like mashed cauliflower does not taste like potatoes or mashed potatoes.
They don't.
But when it's mixed into other stuff, that flavor is really mild. If you didn't tell someone it was in there, they probably won't notice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a lot of like soup recipes that I've been trying to go through, and they all have cashews. I mean, it's not a lot of cashews. I know we can have a quarter cup of nuts or whatever. And I think the whole thing, like the entire soup, called for like a half a cup. But I was like, is there something other than a cashew? Because cashews are one of the ones we have to use caution with, right, Tami?
Yeah, he recommends macadamias and walnuts are his
Okay.
favorites for
Okay.
different reasons, but yeah. That is cool, man. That is such a great tip. That is such a great tip. Anybody else? Anybody got anything else? That was good. I don't think they could top that one. Although I'm pretty happy about Patty's Thanksgiving, just in general, that you got a family and a team and just really standing by you and supporting you. I can't even, my heart just warms for that.
Yeah. Very grateful.
Today is a great day. Today has been a great day. So, anybody else? All right, well, I guess I will say goodbye and I will stop the recording. And I just want to thank you guys for showing up, and extra super thanks for sharing and the tips. And I wish you, I know it's early, but don't blink because they'll be gone already. It'll be New Year's. But I just want to wish you all a happy, healthy New Year. But you guys are a happy, healthy holiday season. But you guys are well on your way. And your attitudes and your willingness to keep trying new things and learning all this stuff and showing up for these classes. I'm so glad. I had no idea about that cauliflower being a thickener like that. That's a good tip. So I will be using that this year too.
Enjoy.
All right,
Thanks,
guys, have a good day, and I will see you all next time.
Thanks, Tami.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.